capture information from the users, essentially figure out what they're looking to find on the site, help direct them to the kind of products and services and booking pages. The point of this chatbot was to be able to be easily copied and pasted over all of the different clients that he has with his SaaS business. And the main functionality is to collect information from the potential customers who visit the site and guide them along a personalized conversation so that they're able to find the correct products and services and get pushed to the conversion event, which in this case is a booking page to book a class. And we also built in a lead capture aspect, so from all the information that we're asking along the way, figuring out the intent of the user, why you're speaking to the business, what you'd be interested in, then we can capture all of that information with their lead, the email and name, and then essentially enrich that lead with the data we've collected in the earlier part of the chatbot. Once we capture this information, we're using Zapier to send it directly to a Google Sheet. Now I can actually show you what the finished product is going to look like down here. So I've just put this onto a test website. Here is the embeddable little bubble down the corner, which we can easily put onto client sites. You can click that and it's going to pop up with the bot. Hi, I'm Joseph, your AI martial arts assistant from Superstar Martial Arts. What brought you here today? So then we get these nice buttons which are built into the UI. You don't have to mess around with it too much. Martial arts for myself. Essentially, it's going to guide us along a conversation, collect some important information, and then try to push us to the booking pages. So that's great. A martial arts program was designed specifically for adults, so it's making me feel like this is exactly what I'm looking for essentially. Okay, I want to learn self-defense. Do you have a martial art in mind? Let's do MMA. Great choice. MMA combines different martial arts, which are great for self-defense. So it feels like it's personalized and feels like it's making me think that the product that they're going to sell me is ideal for what I'm looking for, which is self-defense, and I'm an adult. Would you like more information on how to get started? Sure, tell me more. Best way to try a program is to see what's right for you, and then we can book a trial here by clicking this link, and that will send the potential customer straight to the booking page. Do you have any questions regarding getting started? Now here's the lead capture. If I say email me the info, so we have an info pack essentially you can send out. So now I can provide my email and my full name. And now what's happened in the back end there is that we've taken all of that information, we've taken the answers that I said, which I'm an adult, I'm looking for self-defense classes that are MMA focused, it's taken all of that information, attached it to my email and name, and then they have that in the Google Sheet to start their email marketing to. Now you may be thinking this doesn't sound very AI enabled, but you'd be wrong. This last bit here is really the key AI functionality, which is a open loop of being able to ask questions to a knowledge base. So do you have any further questions? Yes. What we have is a knowledge base that's been ingested and put into Stack AI, but also into BotPress as well. What would you like to know? I can ask questions to the knowledge base, which is what martial arts do you offer? Now it's going to query the knowledge base. Do you have any further questions? Yes. Can my 8-year-old start classes? Yes, children as young as 4 can start classes, and the program is great for kids aged 4 to 14. Do you have any further questions? Now, this is an open loop where we're essentially able to ask questions to this knowledge base until we have all of the information that we want. And the final thing I want to mention before we get stuck in is what tech stack we're using. So essentially we're using BotPress as the base of this application to handle the logic and to handle the general sort of deployment and UI of the bot as well. Using the custom code blocks within BotPress, we're actually able to make API calls to our Stack AI functionality, which is super easy to create. I'm going to be showing you that in this video as well. So we're going to build the BotPress application from scratch, and we're also going to build elements in Stack AI, and I'm going to show you how to connect the two so you can essentially have all of the amazing functionality of Stack AI and sort of LangChain visualized, and how you can connect that into your BotPress using very, very simple API calls that any beginner can understand. Now, I will say there are so many different applications and platforms that are coming out to solve this problem of building chatbots and having complex AI functionality that this is subject to change, and there's sort of new technology that I'm finding out about basically every day within our Discord. Hey guys, just jumping in, recording this a few days later. BotPress has actually just released their import and export feature, meaning that I can actually share the bot that I build in this video with you guys. So if you watch it all, you'll be able to see how to build it. You'll learn how to use BotPress and Stack AI and how they work together. Then at the end of the video, I'm going to explain how you guys can get this exact same bot template, download it, import it into your own BotPress account, and start to use it and sell it to your own clients and have fun with it. So that's going to be available at the end of the video. Thought I'd just jump in and let you guys know that now. So here we are inside BotPress. What you want to do is sign up to an account in the description. There's a link there. It's an affiliate link, so you will be helping me in the channel out if you click on that. Then once you're logged in, you're going to want to click on create a chatbot. It's not actually allowing me to do it right now, so I've just cleared one of my older projects, and then you're going to edit it. It's going to give you a few different options as to the kind of templates they offer, but for now, just start on completely from scratch so you can follow along step by step. And once you get inside, you should be looking at something similar to this. Now, I will show you the example of what we're building. This is sort of the end product that we're going to be working towards. So we have 2 different trees here. Essentially, this takes a bunch of information from the user, and then we have a sort of custom knowledge-based query. Here's our Stack AI integration using a custom code block. So A lot of work here, but we are going to be able to get through it within the scope of this video. You guys are going to be able to have this as a template that you can then use for your additional clients or for whatever purposes you want. You can modify it, whatever you want, if you go along step by step with me here. Now, this is going to be the perfect video for many of you beginners because we're going to cover a lot of stuff in a short space of time, all of the different elements that you're going to use most commonly, how to handle routing, how to handle custom code blocks, how to set up API calls to Stack AI, how to push leads to a sheet using Zapier. We have a Zapier API call in here as well. So a ton of value, a ton of good golden nuggets in here for you guys to be able to take the exact same code and put it into your own applications. So we can get started. Let's start by placing our first node here. You can drag out and drop standard node for the sake of speed here. So we can rename this node up here by clicking on this. We can call this hello. What we're going to do is add in our first text. I'm going to be going through this fairly quickly, so at any point if you need to pause the video just to copy down what I'm writing, then feel free to do that, but I do need to keep the pace up or this is going to be an hour long. Second text block in here, paste that in, and now we need to get an information capture, which is a single choice here. So this is going to allow us to capture some information from the user in the form of a button click. So here we have it as a single choice and we need to ask a user. So when it's asking for the information, you need to ask the question, which for this case is going to be what brought you here today? And we need to create some options for the users to select. So we can click here to this little plus icon. We can say martial arts for myself. Then we can hit enter, martial arts for my child. And then we need to create a variable so we're actually tracking and saving what they reply to this. So we can add a new one and call this who for. And now when they click one of those buttons, it's going to save it to the variable and we can use that information later on for creating personalized messages or for adding to the lead form when they submit their information. Now down here, you can actually test your chatbot. What we can do is start the conversation by saying hi. And here you can see how each of the elements actually displays. So we have the first message, the second message, and then this yellow block here, which is going to ask the question and it's capturing for the who for variable. Then I'm able to select what I want. So martial arts for myself. Oh, great. We can go on to the next node. So I'm going to call this one, why are you here? Add a new text block, paste it in here. Feel free to take a read. Then we need another single choice with the question of why are you looking to learn martial arts? So this is asking for a little more intent from the user. And the first option we're going to provide users with is I want to stay fit. And the second one is going to be I want to learn self-defense. Now for this particular node, we don't actually need these to have separate routes essentially. So we can click these two little buttons here, and that means that it's not going to sort of split them based on the answer. We're just going to continue on regardless. So we can add a transition here just using the expression. Now you do have this AI aspect up here, so you can type things in like no knowledge or no answer from knowledge, and it's going to try to generate the code, but I find a lot of the time it doesn't work too well, so take that out of here. In this case, we're just not going to need to write true here. Now to wrap your head around how these transitions work, essentially we have this condition here, and if whatever's in this comes out as true, then it's going to send the user to the next node. So if we can just hard code in true, it'll pop up as always. So that means it's always going to be true. You're always going to send users. So they send this message, they take the user input, and if it gets to the next block, it's always going to send to the next one. There's one thing we forgot to do on our capture information here, which is to create a new variable, which is going to be why lessons. Hit enter to create that. Now on this new node, we can change it to which martial art, and hit click here. We can add a new code block. So this is the first time we're using a custom code block by BotPress. A quick breakdown on how these things work. Essentially, you're able to access the variables that you've been setting within BotPress, which if you click on the background here, you can see we have two variables of who for and why lessons. Now within these code blocks, you're able to access those variables by typing workflow dot then the variable name. So here you can see if the why lessons variable, which is this node here, was set to I want to learn self-defense, then we're going to go workflow.next message. So the next message variable, which we can create right now, add a new variable and call this next message. Of description, the next message for the bot to send. Add that. Then we're going to set the value of that next message variable to whatever we want. So in this case, it's going to be a message that's sort of related to or sort of complementary to the user's previous input that they provided of I want to learn self-defense. So this is how you can essentially take what variables were captured previously, do some logic with it using an if-else block or a switch case statement. And then as you'll see, we can use this variable in the next node. Now, if you don't have any experience coding, don't freak out because all of this stuff is super, super basic JavaScript, and you're going to be able to ask ChatGPT to generate all of this. I mean, you're going to be able to use this example here as just some basic stuff, but ChatGPT is able to generate basically all of this no matter how complex it gets. So you're going to see that later as well. Next card we need to add here is going to be another text block. So and we're going to make this our next message variable. So this is the magic here that you can actually get it to print out, or the bot to send a variable value. So by us setting the value of the message here, so we go workflow.nextMessage, we can set it and then send it straight afterwards. This is just the first step towards making more and more advanced applications with BotPress. So now we can grab another single choice, have another single choice here. And the question we want to ask is going to be, do you have a martial art in mind? We're going to add a few different items here: kickboxing, MMA, and karate. Now we can again turn off these different little routing options, and we want to create a new variable here as always. So this is going to be type of martial art. Just to give you a quick look at how this is coming out already, I can say hi. Okay, now we have some buttons, martial arts for myself. Great. It's going to send the message. It's going to ask for the next bit, which is here. Why are you looking to learn martial arts? I want to learn self-defense. Okay, and now it's going to send the personalized message, which is knowing you can look after yourself is more important than ever these days. So it's taken the input that I provided and it's giving me a customized message based off what that value was, and then it's setting the next message variable. So we're doing sort of less nodes, but we're using the custom code blocks to set variables essentially. And by doing that, we save a huge sprawl of different nodes all over the place. We can simplify it down by using those custom code blocks. Do you have a martial art in mind? Okay, we're going to go with kickboxing. Great, and now we're up to where we are here. So we can add a transition. Another expression, again, we're going to set this, turn off the AI and set this as true. So it's just always going to transition up to this next one. We're going to start off with a large conditional block here. So what you can do is add in a execute code block. Now this looks quite complicated, but it's essentially the same thing as we've done before. It's just on a bigger scale. So this is using a switch case statement. The way these are generated, you can do it very, very easily. So all you need to do is provide ChatGPT with a breakdown of what the structure of your chatbot is. So say I have variable of who for, and these are the options, and I have variable of why lessons, and these are the options, and I have variable of type of martial art, and these are the lessons. Then it's going to be able to in the math do essentially all of those different combinations, and you can say, can you give me a switch case statement or a if else statement that's going to be able to give personalized answers for all of these different combinations of variables that they might have picked up. Now, so the whole point of this execute code block is to save, again, a ton of different nodes that are required. We can simplify this down and use the same process of going at next message. So depending on what the user's input has been up to that point, we're going to essentially set the next message to a customized message. So if they were selecting for martial arts for themselves, which is the first question, and then they also said, I want to stay fit, which is the second message, and then they said, I want to do kickboxing, then we can sort of combine all those inputs and write a personalized message, which is great choice. Kickboxing is an excellent martial arts for fitness. We offer classes every Wednesday with our experienced coach, Mike. So this is making it feel like everything that they've said previously is leading them towards the sale, and what they're asking for and the products that we have is a perfect match for what they're trying to do. Then we set the next message to this message, and then we send it directly afterwards. So if I restart the conversation and I start again, hi, martial arts for myself. I want to learn self-defense. I want to do karate. Excellent decision. Karate is one of the best martial arts for self-defense. Join Coach John every Friday to learn these techniques. So this is the personalized message that's coming out of this big switch case block. Next step is to take some more user information. So we're going to add a single choice block here. The question is going to be, would you like more information on how to get started? The options we're going to have is, sure, tell me more. I have a question. So we're going to take sure, tell me more down here. New node down here. New node. Then we're going to change this one to link to trial. This one down here, update it to check knowledge. Now for the link to trial, the first text that we're going to add on is just a text card here. So this message is going to be sent after they've said, yes, I would like some more information. So you can click on this. That's the message there. Great. The best way to try our program to see if it's right for you is to take advantage of our special offer. So here's an offer that I've just hard coded in. I've just written it in, but you can actually put variables in there that the client's able to easily change out depending on the bot. So if this is duplicated for multiple different clients' websites, then they're able to easily change that variable without having to get in manually and change all of them at once. Then we need to add in our information capture again, asking them a question. The question this time is, do you have any questions regarding getting started? So the options we're going to have here is yes, no, and then email me the info. So 3 options here. Shuffle this down. Then what we can do is connect the yes route down to this check knowledge node down below. We can take the no to the end. So essentially they've said, do you have any questions regarding getting started? And then they've said no. We can route that to the end because they've said no, they don't have any questions. And then finally we can take the email me the info and just plop a note up here for later. Now we get onto the more exciting parts of this app, which is the knowledge query function, which is the AI aspect of this chatbot. What we're going to set up is not only a BotPress knowledge query, but also a Stack AI knowledge query. So this is a system that I've created and I find works best, and this is what I get our developers at Morningside to do as well. Essentially, you use the BotPress knowledge query, which they have built in, which we're going to do in a sec, as the sort of initial knowledge query. So it's going to ask a question to BotPress, say, hey, can you give me a quick answer? And if BotPress comes back with no, I don't have an answer, which is quite common, then it's going to send an API call to one of our Stack AI applications and then run a knowledge query using GPT-4 or 3.5 Turbo and then send us back an answer. And in most cases, if BotPress isn't able to answer it, Stack AI will be able to answer it because it's just using a better model and it has a better sort of embedding system and vector database setup. So the reason we have them layered like that is because BotPress responses can be quick and snappy for the very basic things, but if it's a bit more of a curveball question, we can pass it to Stack AI as a fallback. And if Stack AI isn't even able to respond to it, then we have another fallback. So it's sort of a 3-step fallback system for custom knowledge queries. And then finally would say, I don't know, if we still don't get an answer from either of those. First step is to set up our BotPress knowledge querying. So what we can do is actually create our own knowledge base within BotPress. So you can come up to the left corner here and click add knowledge base. What I'm going to do is add a knowledge base source. We're going to add a document. So what I can do is get the frequently asked questions file or the support document file from the client. In this case, I can upload it here as a text file. Now, in your case, you're not going to have this. I can't give you this data, unfortunately. But when you go and use this template for another client, you can get their Q&A information or their FAQs in a text file, which is just structured question, answer, then upload it here and you'll be in the same spot as us right now. You can write a little description. Okay, so just a little blurb there that you can add in. We can also rename this to be knowledge base. Let's make this super star martial knowledge base. So it's literally as easy as that to set up a knowledge base with BotPress. Then we need to come over to this agent section, which is a new feature, and make sure that the knowledge agent is on, enabled, and this answer on start node is off. So make sure that's all set up. Then we can go back to our main, zoom in on this check knowledge node and click this button here, which is going to enable knowledge answering. Now this knowledge based querying within BotPress can actually be pretty confusing at times, but just know that when the query comes in and hits this, if this is checked, it's going to attempt to query the knowledge with that information that's just arrived. So first step for us is going to be taking a single choice here. So we're going to set the question that we ask them when they arrive on this knowledge query node as what would you like to know? And we need to change this from a single choice, which is going to be a button, into raw input. So whenever you want to receive input from the user in the form of a message or just a sort of free form response, you change it to raw input and it's going to just capture that text as the value. So we want to change it to a raw input and we want to capture this value as a new variable called question. Then we need to set up some important routing depending on if the knowledge base within BotPress was able to give a response. So we can add another expression here, a transition. You're going to need to set your transition information to exactly as I have on screen here, which is a label of no answer from knowledge. So you can easily see that this transition, why it's going to be triggered. And then the condition is going to be if the knowledge agent, which is the agent up here, if it has responded. So that's going to determine if it hasn't responded, then we're going to take them down here. So that's what the little exclamation mark means here. So if we have not received a response from the knowledge agent, essentially it's tried to query it, but it's come back as I don't know, or I don't have an answer for this question. Then we need to add another transition here, which is going to be always true. Whenever you transition into the top of a block here, it's going to start at the top. It's going to read from the top down. And here we can see if there's no answer from the knowledge base, aka we're going to ask a question, the knowledge base doesn't have a response, it's going to take it down here. But if this condition here doesn't evaluate to true, then it's going to go into the next block. So we have this set up here. So we receive a question and it's going to ask the BotPress knowledge bot. So the way this check knowledge node is working is we're asking the user a question of what would you like to know? And then we're going to query the BotPress knowledge base. And if there's no answer from the knowledge agent, then we're going to route down to this next one, which is going to be our Stack AI query. Have that condition as true, and it's going to be always. And then we can create a new node just down here. This is going to be further queues. This is going to be Stack AI query. Sorry to interrupt, guys, but if you are enjoying the video, can you please head down below and leave a like? If there's any value that you're getting out of this, it would mean the world to me and help me reach more people like you and help them build businesses like this. Back to the video. For the further queues, we're going to add a single choice on here. Do you have any further questions? And the options here are going to be yes, and no. And if they have further questions, then we can just send them back up to the knowledge query. So this is when we start that infinite loop of them being able to ask question after question. And then if they say no, we're going to take them to the end. Now we can give our BotPress knowledge base a test. What I'm going to do here on the Stack AI query is add no answer from BotPress knowledge base. So we know that if it's hitting down to the Stack AI query, then this statement is evaluating to true. So we're not getting a response from a BotPress knowledge base. If we want to test our knowledge query, we can just whip through this. So we can say, hi, martial arts myself, I want to stay fit, kickboxing, I have a question. What would you like to know? Now we get to ask a question to the knowledge base, and I'm going to say, how old do my kids need to be? I'm actually going to add a transition onto the bottom here just for now so that we can easily test this. Change this to true. How old do my kids need to be to start lessons? So this is within the knowledge base. Let's see if we can figure it out. Kids can start martial arts classes from the age of 4. Great, that's the correct answer. What martial arts do you offer? Oh, I'm supposed to click a button there actually. I can copy and paste this in. What martial arts do you offer? So it's doing a pretty good job of answering using the BotPress knowledge base. I'm going to say I have further questions. Now if I say something like, what color is the sky? So this transition here has worked correctly. The knowledge agent didn't respond and it sent us down to the Stack AI query where we received this message. So that means the BotPress is answering correctly. Now we just need to set up a Stack AI API so that we're able to answer more difficult questions using the same information. Now to do this part, of course, you're going to need a Stack AI account, but it's free to sign up. There's a link to sign up in the description. Once you're in here with an account, you're going to be able to scroll down to the document and database templates. Super easy to set up. Click on the document database Q&A, and then we're going to click on the document Q&A here. So in just a few clicks, you've got the entire document query system set up. I just need to click to upload here, upload that same document that I had from the client. That's going to take it a few seconds here to just learn. Once we've got the okay there, then we can play around with this prompt a little bit. A quick explainer on what's going on here. This is a input node, so this is where we're going to be sending our query from the user. So it's going to be essentially filling this up programmatically. Once we get the input, it's going to query the documents. It's going to return some of those documents that are relevant to the query, and it's going to insert it into this prompt template here. So the question is going to be coming from the input, and then the context is going to be coming from this here. So it's inserting a couple relevant chunks. Say I ask about what kind of martial arts do you offer, it's going to return a few chunks that are relevant to that query, insert it into this context via this variable here. Then we're also going to insert the user input and say, okay, now answer this question given this information we've retrieved from our documents. So we have a little opportunity here to do some prompt engineering. I think GPT 3.5 Turbo here as the model is completely fine. I have the prompt here. You can take a look at that. Essentially, answer the question quickly. This is who you're from, and always try to bend the answer to make it sound like we are the perfect solution to the problem. Now, I can give you a quick example of this in action. So if I say, my son is 2 years old, can he start lessons? So if I click run up here, we can see what the response is going to be. We typically start teaching martial arts at 4 to 14, but we do offer to children as young as 3. So here we've got a nice answer, which is tailored to the user's question, which is not really what BotPress does. This is actually using a language model like GPT 3.5 Turbo to really bend that and make it a personalized response. And this personalization of the answer to what they're actually asking is the main advantage of using a Stack AI query over the native BotPress one. Once we've done this quick setup within Stack AI, all we need to do is click to deployments, and I can go to document Q&A. Here you can see what the JavaScript API call looks like. Now, if you're not technical, don't freak out. I'm going to be giving you the exact code that you need. This actually doesn't work directly. BotPress is a little bit weird and you have to dumb it down quite a bit. So the code block that we're actually going to be using is going to be available in the description. I have a little document for you guys to be able to get all of the code that I mentioned in this, and you can just copy and paste over or use to give the ChatGPT to answer, to generate more similar ones. So going back to BotPress now, I'm going to grab an execute code block. I'm going to paste in this code here, and then I'm going to go back to Stack AI and I'm going to grab this URL. So heading back over, delete that comma. So we've set up the endpoint correctly. Now I just need to add my bearer token, which is my API key, which you guys won't be able to see, but you can get your API key for Stack AI by coming up to the right corner and going to keys, then copying your key and heading back and pasting it in instead of these 3 dots. Going to create a new variable called API response up here. Response from Stack. We can save that. And so in here, you can see we're going to be sending off as our input. So this is to the input field of the Stack AI application. We're going to be sending the question that we captured here. So when the user asks us a question, we're going to capture that and save it to the variable of question. If we're not able to answer from the BotPress knowledge base, it's going to come down to the Stack AI query. We're going to use that same query, send it off as part of the payload, and we're going to be using this workflow.question as the input. Then what we receive back as the output is going to be captured in this API response variable that we just created so that we can use it in the next steps. We can add in a text card here and then set it to API response. So that's going to be the response from Stack AI. We get to print that out as a response to the user's query. And once we have replied to them with the Stack AI response, we can delete this routing here. We just need to click on this little red line. And then we need to take this always just up to the further question. So that we've replied to their question. Now we take them back to this node here, which is going to say, do you have any further questions? And it starts it all over again. And if they say no, it's going to take them to the end. And if they say yes, it's going to take them back up to the knowledge query. And we say, what would you like to know? So we've got this infinite loop running where we can ask questions to the knowledge base, and then it's going to go to the Stack AI if it isn't able to answer it. And then at the end, if they have no questions, they can send them off to the end of the chatbot. With the custom knowledge base query out of the way, we can get onto the other interesting function that you guys will probably want to see, which is to be able to capture leads. So we can start here with a text. We start the process of lead capture off with this question here, which is when we say, great, the best way to start a program. We start off the process for lead capture with this single choice section here, which is, do you have any questions regarding getting started? One of the options is email me the info. So then it's going to take them to this node up here, and we say, sure, we have full information pack on all of our classes and offers. Next card we put in is going to be the email capture. So we want to ask them a question up here of, please provide your email below. This is automatically set to being an email address. We want to add this to the email variable, and that's going to save that. Then we can add in the full name, person name. Then we ask, please provide your full name. That's going to be saved to the name variable. Then we need a custom code block to execute the Zapier query. This is the code that you're going to need right here. I'm actually going to create a new variable called Zapier success. We're going to set this to a Boolean. Save that. And so inside this execute code block, you can see we have the Zapier success value. So we're going to set it as false initially. We're going to take all of this lead data, which is saved to our variable. So the workflow name, the workflow email, the workflow who for, all of the information that we've captured already. We're going to add as the payload for this API call. Then we're going to try to make a post request to Zapier here using the URL provided. Now in this video, I don't have time to show you the Zapier setup side of things, but it's very straightforward. You just create a Zapier account, you set up a custom webhook. You're going to be able to get an API endpoint that you can put into this field here. I've actually deleted half of mine, but you'll be able to paste that directly into there. Essentially, all you're going to be doing is setting up a custom webhook or API and allowing to send data to it, and it's going to push it to a Google Sheet. So you need to create a Google Sheet, create these column names of name, email, who for, etc., and that the data is going to fill out that sheet in the way that you tell it to. So go over to Zapier, set that up, and then you're going to be able to come back and paste in the URL that they provide into this part here. And then when that comes back as a success, it's going to set the new variable as true, and then we're going to be able to move on to the next part of the application. Now we need a little transition here, which is going to take us if this has been successful. So we can type if Zapier success is true, and the AI feature here was able to actually get this right for us. Now if that post request went through and it came back with a Zapier success is true, we're going to go to a new node here. We're going to create a new bit of text, add it on. After they've submitted their information and the Zap has gone through correctly, we say, perfect, we'll be in touch with you shortly. And then make them an offer of 50% off. You can sort of insert anything you want in here. And after that, we want to, again, transition. We're going to ask them if they have any further questions. So this is going to be an always, so we can set that to true. And then grab this end and send this all the way down to the further queues. So it's going to be going from the standard 2 down to the further questions and ask them if they have any other questions. And as a basic fallback, what we can add in here is a text mentioning an error occurred, aborting, and then we can always send this to drop in another expression here. We can make this true. This is essentially error handling. We're just going to take this to the end. If the Zapier post request doesn't go through, we're just going to send it to the end, of course. And in later versions of the app, you can set it up so that it fails much better than just sending it to the end. But for the scope of this video, I can't show you the full setup like that. Zooming out on our application, it seems that we've almost finished it off. There's just one little part to do left, which is to fill out the bottom half of this, which is if you've chosen that it's martial arts for my child. So we can very, very quickly blast through that now. I don't want to drag this out too much more. Name this to Why You Here Too. Come in and add a text card. That's great. We have an excellent kids program here at Superstar Martial Arts. Single choice in here. We're going to ask them, why do you want them to learn martial arts training? And we can save the user input to the why lessons variable, which we used previously as well. We can reuse that in this part of the application. And then we're going to ask them a few things, give them a couple options. Options we're going to give them are build confidence, build strength, learn discipline, all of the above. Now that we've captured that information, we can actually turn off all of these custom routes, and then we just set an always. So once they've received that information and saved it to the variable, we can route this always, set this to true, and then we get the next node. Save this one to Y Martial Arts Kids. We're going to add a custom code block in here first. I'm going to paste this in here. You guys will be able to get all of this. It's the same thing that we're doing before, which is based on what they've asked. This is the same process as in the adult tree, which is above. We've been over that. It's just setting this next message variable to a personalized message depending on what they've answered in the previous node. Then of course we need to add our next message response. So at next message. The next card we need to add in here is a single choice. So we can drag in a single choice here. We're going to say the question as, do you have a martial art in mind? We're going to save this to the type of martial art variable that we've created above. So you might be able to tell that these are mirroring each other, but we've just gone for one side is with the kids and one side is with adults. The options that we're going to have here, kickboxing, MMA, karate, same as above. We can turn off all of these connectors, and then we need to get an always transition down the bottom, true, send it up to the top. And with that final connection, I think we are ready to go. We have finished things up here. From a high level, what we have built here is a chatbot that helps customers to get information about the business, to find products that are best for them, to help them feel like it's a personalized process of getting to the right class or finding the right martial art for what they need, and etc., and finding the right class for their kid. We have AI aspects of custom knowledge-based querying using BotPress and Stack AI. We have lead capture that sends to a Google Sheet via a Zapier integration here. And then the beautiful thing about BotPress is once we've finished all of this, we can very, very easily just click publish in the top right corner. Here we can see we've successfully published the bot. Now we're able to go back to our home page and click on we can refresh the page and click on integrations. And then we have all of these options as to how we can actually hand this bot over to the client. So in this case, I was using a web chat. So here you can see we can go to the pre-configured and copy this link, paste it here, and then we're able to chat to our chatbot on a hosted web page. So we can send this link to clients, they can have a chat to it. They can send this link to their own clients, whatever they want to do. So we can say hi, and we can go through all of the things that we've just set up. So maybe we go down to the child's route this time. We have an excellent kids program here. Why do you want them to start martial arts training? I want them to learn discipline. Discipline is a foundational aspect of all martial arts. What martial art do you have in mind? Why not karate? Karate is well known for instilling discipline in its practitioners. We have classes every Friday with our discipline coach, John. Would you like more information on how to get started? I have a question. Do I need to be fit to start classes? No, you don't need to be fit to start classes. People start at varying fitness levels, etc. Do you have any further questions? No, I think we're good. So that's one way of interacting with this bot, just one example. You can go back to BotPress, and you can take the script tag and you can send this to clients and they can put it on their website, and it will pop up as I showed you at the beginning of the video. You're going to be able to add this handy little UI and actually customize this UI if you want to take this a step further. But this is going to be able to be put on any website that your client wants. And if you want to get fancy, you can even experiment with some of these other deployment options that you have from BotPress that can help you to provide different services to your clients and make more money. So that is about all for the video, guys. Well done for making it this far. I hope you've been able to follow along and get something similar to this duplicated in your own BotPress. So then you can make edits to it. You can play around with the different features. And I know it can be sort of overwhelming getting started. I hope this has been a nice entry point for you to get familiar with BotPress, to get familiar with Stack AI, familiar with the kind of integration you can do between the two. And I urge you to just keep playing around, keep experimenting, keep trying to build different types of chatbots and exploring some of the other features like the AI side of BotPress, etc. Now, if this has been useful for you, you're definitely going to want to join my community Discord, which is available in the pinned comment and the description. I do workshops there every week and weekly Q&As. We have the biggest AI automation community in the world at this point because we've started it within that community itself. We've just started to see our first set of community members getting their first client signed, so we've got a wins channel set up there. We're starting to really see some great results from people, and if you want to get in there and be where essentially get your information from the source and be around the other guys and girls who are hungriest to get this business model working, and I'll be in there replying to questions as well. So essentially, if you're not in there, what are you doing? Get in there and start extracting some of the value that we're giving away for free daily. If you haven't already watched my best niches for AI automation agency videos, I'd recommend you go and watch that now. It's very, very useful for you to figure out how you're going to need to approach starting your first AI automation agency, how you can pick your niche, the sort of framework and criteria that I use and that I recommend for people in the Discord to use as well, so that you can get off on the absolute best foot possible and set yourself up for success. And as always, if you're looking for more information on AI automation, be sure to subscribe to my channel, because it's putting out videos 2 to 3 times a week on this exact topic, as valuable as I can possibly make it, as you've seen in this video. And of course, join my Discord as I mentioned, but you can also sign up to my AI automation newsletter, which is going to be available in the description and the pinned comment. So if you want to get a couple times a week my tips and tricks sent direct to your inbox, you can sign up to that down below. That is all for the video, guys. I'm going to need to go and have a massage after this. It's been a very big session, but thank you so much for watching. I hope you got something out of it, and I'll see you in the next one.